Welcome, everybody. Casting for Two, the official podcast with your host, Chris, that random guy who's talking into a microphone. Full disclosure, this is my third time trying to do this because I am not feeling well. Or I'm feeling better, but I just have had a cough, so I'm going to try not to cough during this. And, so everyone, welcome to episode number 115. I would like to thank Comic Bento for always supporting the podcast, being a sponsor. Another group of supporters I would like to thank is Secret Stage Productions. They have awesome weekly podcasts. They have a general podcast where all the members chat. And then they have a gaming podcast, which is great because everyone knows I like gaming. I want to get back into gaming. So everybody go to secretstageproductions.com and support them because they support me, and I like them. They're good guys. Zach was on the episode last week. So, yeah, he's a founder. There you go. Wow, I just went through that shop talk very quickly because I'm awesome. But enough about that. Let me get into my guest. My guest is Logan Lynn, the very talented singer-songwriter, and I was happy to have him on the show. He's a wonderful guy. He has great music. He also is a part of the Keep Oregon Well campaign. It's about getting mental health awareness out there. And I think it is a great cause, and he's doing a great work out there. So, I was happy to have him on the podcast and also talk about his music. And I feel like I should let you listen to it. So sit back and relax. And Chris, cue the music, please. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well, and yourself, Logan?
I'm well. I didn't follow your directions that you were going to start the call. I started it myself on accident.
So we're off to a bad start, and so I'm going to hang up. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's all good.
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Great.
How's your day going so far?
It's good. Yeah, it's been really snowy in Portland. We had kind of a icy, freezy, rainy snowstorm. I don't know. Are you located here? Or?
I grew up in Salem, couple, for a majority of the millennium, but nice. I live in Texas now, and I have been here for, I think, 3 years.
Oh, okay. But you know what happens here when it snows and freezes rain.
Absolutely. Watch out for that black ice.
Yeah, it's not a good scene, and so everything's closed, and but it's been good. I got a lot of work done today.
There we go. So it's the beginning of the new year. Are you I need to start some New Year's resolutions? Are you that kind of guy?
I'm not. I mean, I guess broadly and generally, I'm that kind of guy all the time. So I don't limit it to like a big setup every end of December. I think I make goals for myself each year that I try to make happen, but not as resolutions or anything.
Gotcha. Every day is New Year's Day for you.
Apparently so. It's quite the experience.
There you go. So this is a pretty loose show. I love just general chit chat. But I do like finding out when artists, find out they have that bug.
Okay.
So, and I'm asking you, this is a segue into, when did you find out you had the musical bug, or when you were like, hey, I think this music thing might be a thing?
Right. Well, I grew up in a really conservative church environment where at our congregation didn't allow instruments.
Oh,
So we
okay.
a cappella only church and a cappella home. And so early on, I was singing with my family or singing at church. And I think music has always been a part of my life in that way. I also, the flip side of that, in that environment, I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music growing up. So at some point, I realized that secular music was sort of the key to my freedom. And I started, going to the store and taking CDs. And this is all like when I was like 10 and 12 years old, but taking CDs of like Nirvana or Liz Phair and putting them in like Amy Grant CD cases so that I didn't get busted listening to music that I wanted to listen to. And so that gave me a really clear, I think, sort of visceral relationship with music, in that I knew that every time I listened to it, whatever it was, if it wasn't contemporary Christian music, it was potentially the last time I would ever be able to hear it, because it could get taken away. And I think that gave me a really deep, not just appreciation for pop music or rock music, but a feeling experience that was, has stayed with me.
Okay. And so I mean, I'm not saying I grew up in the conditions that you did, but I remember in school, always, because I used to bring my CD player and a CD to school, and whether it was like Limp Bizkit or something a little bit harder, not
Uh-huh.
not middle school appropriate, I would put it in like an in sync case or whatever.
Yeah, it's a
Just
trick. Kids know tricks, man.
exactly. Now with MP3 players, it's like, no,
Oh
no.
my God. I would not even be here talking to you if the internet existed back when I was a young person. I know that much too.
What's your preferred method of listening to music? Are you a CD, vinyl, tapes? They're making a comeback as well.
Yeah. I obviously have it on my phone, just like everybody
Mm.
else. I put phones in. When I'm at home, I play it really loud through this Bose system that I have. And when I'm in the studio making something, I try to listen to it in as many different ways as I can, because I know that not everybody has the same speaker setup. So.
Okay, right on, right on. And and you have a new single that came out called "The One."
Yeah.
Now, and it's part of a new album called "Adieu." Is
Yeah.
that album currently just being worked on, or is it kind of finished and waiting?
Yeah, so we've been working on it for the last little over 3 years, and it's done. We are
Hmm.
finishing the mixing right now, mixing and then mastering. But it's all written and recorded, and it's 16 songs, and this is one of them.
Gotcha. And what was your thought process when you were writing? I'm going to talk, in general, the album, just because when I talk to people who do a lot of writing, whether it's music or even film, I like to know what they are consuming at the time, whether it's movies, music, what kind of inspired you during the writing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had like a big life change. The
Mm,
record is about a really important relationship in my life ending,
mm,
and me kind of putting the pieces back together, and sort of figuring out, how to be in the world again by myself, and
mm.
in this with this new kind of vision of my future that I hadn't really had before. So I don't know if inspiration is the right word for it, but I was, deeply in grief, and I think that process, writing these songs and trying to figure out a way to make what I was feeling into something that was a little less horrible, was really therapeutic, and also at the root of my process. I say that, but also in times of breakup or sadness, I go really back to my original, depressed teenager standards of like Elliott Smith and Smog, some of those bands that I think created an atmosphere for me to write in.
There you go. go. Okay, cool. And so where does the one kind of fit in on that? Because I was listening to the song, and it's a great catchy song, and but of course it does have that sadder element, I will say.
Yeah. I mean, the whole record is a story,
Uh-huh.
so this is kind of towards the end of the story when
Oh.
things are looking better for me, and I have a different perspective. I think some of the songs are about the loss, and some of them are about trying to figure out what happened, and then some of them are about standing on the other side and kind of feeling whole again. And I think this one's about that. I have a different perspective on not just that relationship, but also myself in that relationship, having gone through the end of it. So I think this is a window into that.
Right on, right on. And I are you planning on doing? I assume you're planning on doing a tour. Come
Yeah,
or
so we have another video coming out
mm,
in a couple of months, and then the record comes out in summer. We should know the release date pretty soon here, but haven't announced that just yet. And we'll be playing some shows leading up to that, and then I'll do a tour. I usually tour major cities end of summer, beginning of fall.
I don't. I remember you were. I forget what year this was, but it was definitely a couple years ago. You were hitting up Salem, and I remember tweeting a dumb comment of go over to Muchas because it's an Oregon staple.
Right? Yeah, yum. I'm into it. Yeah, we did a weird like Pride circuit tour at one point
Uh-huh.
back when I was signed to EMI, and they really were trying to push me as a gay artist, which is fine. I mean, I'm gay, but like putting me and my band at Pride festivals when everybody's like trying to party is like not a good fit. And so
Right.
that tour was a product of that. I mean, we had a lot of head scratching, and at that point, my band was doing like this really wild sort of post-punk dance,
Uh-huh.
screaming thing. And they were a bunch of daytime morning shows. So it was cool. It was funny.
There we go. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if you guys played at a Muchas. Just kind of
we did have, we have
exactly. All right, we're playing here tonight. Let's do this.
totally. It was that kind of tour where we're like, and let's plug in.
Any plans on coming on down to South by?
That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, I played a big festival in Austin at the end of 2014 called Stargazer
Mm.
Festival. It just happened again this year. Um, yeah, I mean, there's some parties that South by Southwest is such a madhouse. It's
Yeah.
like unless you're really dialed into something that makes sense, I don't know that I want to fly me and the guys there just to like play at, like you say, every burrito place there is.
Right.
It would need to be the right setup, but it's fun. I'm a little bit shy around crowds in my personal life, which I realize is kind of a contradiction with this whole professional thing that I do. But the idea of at capacity room after room isn't like my ideal dream for a vacation for myself.
Right.
So it would have to be work.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Do you have any favorite memories from any from anything from on the road?
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Gino, my collaborator and friend and bandmate, for the greater part of a decade, and we've toured a bunch and played a bunch of shows. Some of which have been really great, and some of which have been really not great.
Hmm.
But that's kind of the ride we've been on has held space for both of those experiences. And I think the stuff I remember most are like the times where like we did this tour for mental health. It was like a fundraiser tour for different mental health organizations in each city that we played. And I remember feeling like really inspired by that. Like every ticket we've sold and every person I saw, I felt like we were doing something really cool. On top of it just being like a fun party and fun to play our songs for people and be heard. I always get off on like doing something else at the same time. So blending my worlds, blending activism with music has been, at least in the last 5 years, a top priority whenever we're playing shows, and that always makes for like meeting really cool like-minded people, and it's been cool to watch it happen that way.
Right on. And so I mean, you mentioned kind of doing activist work, and do you think that kind of spawned from when you were a kid? Being a little bit of a rebellious kid and just kind of listening to music. Do you think that's kind of where the roots started?
Yeah, I mean, some of it, I'm sure. I have never really been one to bite my tongue, and my experience in the world, I think, informs a lot about who I am, and some of that crosses over into my political beliefs, and just my big dreams for what I wish the world were like. And so I am driven, I think, by my experience as a young person, and by my current experiences in the world. It's all I'm not satisfied with how things are, and my art is all about trying to make things prettier, and my activism work is the same. I'm trying to make things better.
And I'm just very, because I talk to so many people, but me personally, I'm just sort of not in the know to say. But what sort of causes are going on right now that you either support or don't support?
Well, I mean, the ones I support, I'm deeply involved in LGBTQ causes, as well as mental and behavioral health. I have a campaign here in Oregon called Keep Oregon Well that I kicked off. That's all about fighting stigma through rock and roll. I've had close to 100 shows in the last year with bands like Walk Off the Earth and Charlie XCX and Bleachers, and lots of bands coming through. And we have these shows where we raise awareness about mental and behavioral health. We offer services to people who are struggling, and we have a rock show. So I care a lot about that. I care about human rights. I want everybody to be happy, healthy, loved, and celebrated on some level. And so a lot of my work is all about that.
Right on. Okay, cool. And any upcoming shows for any of your causes?
Yeah, I mean, we have shows all the time throughout Oregon. If you go to keeporegonwell.com, they're all listed there. Lots of cool things happening. As far as my own personal shows that I'm doing, we're revamping my live show, and getting ready for tour later in the year. So I'm going to lay pretty low until the record's done. But it's cool to be able to kind of scratch that itch by way of these other bands.
Yeah, there you go. And it's also good to, lend a helping hand in these funny times that are happening right now.
Well, and it's also fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I think we've hit a sweet spot where, yeah, we're doing good work and we're helping the world, but also it's like a blast. And I think that's why it matters so much to people. They come to the shows, they see their favorite band, they have a moment where their favorite band is talking about how it's okay to stand up and say you're experiencing something around your mental or behavioral health care, and then they leave feeling like they're part of something bigger.
There we go. I would like to do a little backtracking to when you said you're revamping your live shows.
Yeah.
I don't. You are talking to the live show expert.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've never done a live show, but I know I'm the expert on it.
Nice.
So I'm going to give you a couple ideas. Don't feel free if you want to think about them, fine. But if you say yes right away, I would not be surprised.
Okay.
I'm thinking while you're playing, we bring back foam, like soapy bubbles goes out, flies into the audience. We'll give them goggles to make them safe, keep their eyes fine. But you have like a good old fashioned soapy concert.
Okay, kind of like a Gallagher show / raver party.
Exactly. But it gets people clean because they're standing around, they're doing their dancing, they're gonna get a little dirty. This cleans them right up. So you're actually doing, a couple different things at once.
I'm into that. I love cleanliness.
Exactly. The other, I think Silly String needs to make a comeback.
Okay.
Just
I'm a little hesitant for, just because of the whole cleanliness thing.
right. Well, no, this is separate. I'm giving you options because life's all about options. But it's just literally you stand on the stage and just shoot silly string.
I feel like I could incorporate that.
Yeah, I think that one might be a bit more cost effective.
Right. As long as it doesn't get on me or my gear, then I'm into it.
All right, sounds good. All right, so we'll drop the paperwork and we'll get all that going.
I see. Great. Sounds good.
But this is usually the time when I like to give my guests the floor, and you can really plug or pitch or talk about anything you want.
Okay.
So this is all you.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm leaving. Goodbye. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. You're going to go get us some silly string.
I'm going to go get some silly string at the Muchas.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, we have this new single that just came out. I hope people will go watch the video. It's on YouTube and on my website. My website is loganlynnmusic.com. And obviously, if you want to get involved, if you're in Oregon with the Keep Oregon Well efforts, that's keeporegonwell.com. I'm all over the internet, so I'm pretty easy to find. And we have lots of exciting things happening right now, so there's no shortage of news up on there.
There we go. So stay tuned to loganlynnmusic.com and internet.com.
Yeah.
And anyplace.com.
Totally.
But Logan, I had a blast chatting with you. Whenever you want to come on, just say the word, and I'd be happy to have you back on.
Thanks, Chris. Sounds good.
Thank you. And you have a wonderful day staying inside and not going outside because it's icy.
Totally. All right. Talk to you soon, man.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.